My name is Emily, and I'm 43 years old. My husband, John, who was the same age as me, passed away from a heart attack 2 years ago. His death was very sad. We didn't have any children together, which was a source of pain for us. Sometimes I felt guilty because John loved children but couldn't have any with me. When I talked about feeling inadequate, he assured me that we could still be happy, just the two of us, having fun together. After that, we focused on strengthening our relationship and enjoying happy times together. But then things changed unexpectedly. Just when life seemed better, I lost my beloved husband and was left feeling lonely. Now, I live alone in the same house as John's mother, with whom I often had disagreements. We share a two-family home, and the fact that we have separate living spaces is the only good thing about our living situation. However, she started to visit frequently, possibly because she missed her deceased son. I was concerned about my mother-in-law, who was domineering and often made sly remarks, suggesting she was against me being with her son from the start. "What do you mean by that?" I asked her one day. "It's because he married a woman like you that John died. You should pay for it," she replied, her words sharp and hurtful. I was taken aback. "You've told me this multiple times, but are you suggesting that I am to blame? He probably got sick because you couldn't manage his diet. I bet your seasoning was too rich. The fact that he gained weight after marriage proves it," she continued. "It's true that John gained weight after our marriage, but he always said the food was delicious and ate it with joy every day," I defended. "John had a kind soul. He would accept food even if it wasn't good without complaining. If you had been more attentive to his health, this wouldn't have happened," she accused. These hurtful words from my mother-in-law before John's funeral 2 years ago were a huge shock. She made it seem like John's illness and passing were my fault. Her constant accusations took a toll on me mentally, making it a very difficult time. I tried to empathize with my mother-in-law. Losing her beloved son must have been incredibly painful, and I could understand her inability to control her emotions. Her attacks on me escalated day by day, and I never expected it to reach this level. "Because of you, my precious son is no longer here. Were you aiming for his insurance money from the start?" she accused angrily. "That's just not true," I replied, trying to defend myself. "You planned not to have children just to get all the insurance money for yourself, didn't you?" "What a scary woman," she continued. "My husband John and I wanted children desperately. We visited hospitals and tried everything, but we were never blessed with a child. The idea of aiming for insurance money was ridiculous. Every day without John is unbearable for me. I can't possibly act like you, can I?" she added. "Why can you say such cruel things? It would have been better if you were gone instead. Why did Joe have to go through this?" Her words were too much to bear. "There's a limit to everything. There are things you can and cannot say," I replied, trying to keep calm. She responded dismissively, "Oh, I'm just talking to myself. I'm just saying what I've been thinking. It has nothing to do with you." Finally, she bluntly said, "Move out." "Why should I move out?" I asked, feeling unfairly attacked. "Living with you makes me feel like I'm going crazy. I won't say tomorrow, but please leave this house as soon as possible. Since John's passing, the ownership of this house should be mine," she demanded. Her accusations were unbearable. "Now that John is gone, you think the insurance money and the house are all yours, right?" "You're unbelievable," I exclaimed. "I didn't know that there was insurance money involved," I explained. When she found out about the insurance payment after his death, it seemed to raise suspicions in her mind. She appeared to believe that I had caused John's death to get the house and insurance money, and no matter how much I tried to explain, she wouldn't understand. I was at my limit with the situation. Living with her was becoming increasingly difficult, and my days were mentally taxing. The next day, she continued her verbal attacks. "You must be living comfortably without a home, with a lot of insurance money coming in, not even having to work. Is that why you came here today, to say such things?" "No, it's not like that," I replied, feeling frustrated. I couldn't stand her constant hurtful remarks. I understood that she was grieving over John, but her accusations were tearing me apart. It's not fair to take it out on me. I miss him terribly too and feel lonely, I explained, trying to reason with her. Really, don't make me laugh. With a house and money, isn't everything just perfect for you? Playing the good wife act, are you? She retorted sharply. I don't want to hear such things. We struggled with not being blessed with children, but I loved John and always helped us share many happy moments together. I replied, hurt by her accusations. It's impressive how you can say such things with all the freedom, money, and everything going your way. Isn't life just perfect? She continued, her words cutting deep. That's so cruel. If I could exchange the money and house to have John back, I would do it in a heartbeat, I said earnestly. Oh, so you're saying you don't need the insurance money then, she sneered. Why would you even say that? If I don't need it, then I'll just have it, right? This money is the last gift John left for me, thinking of my future after he's gone. I want to cherish the sentiment, I explained. What a shameless woman you are, she remarked bitterly. At this point, I felt it was detrimental for both of us to continue living together. Summoning my courage, I made a proposal I had been contemplating for a while. Can we end this lifestyle? I asked tentatively. What do you mean? She replied. Every day we argue, and it's just hard on both of us. I think it's difficult to continue living together, I explained. That would be best. Please find a place and move out soon, she demanded. You're the one who should move out. This house is under my name, she countered. I can't believe you're trying to kick me out. You're even worse than I thought. The house is too big for me alone, and I'm considering selling it once then settle down. Plus, properties around here seem to sell for a good price, I suggested. Just when I thought about what you'd suggest next, it's about money again. How much more do you need to be satisfied? She explained. If you're thinking of selling, you should just give it to me. Living alone, this house will be too big for you as well, and maintaining it, including property taxes, could be a burden. I can help you find an apartment. Or should I pay rent when I can live here? She added. If you're planning to sell, you should give it to me, my mother-in-law declared. I believe that renting an apartment would be more affordable than maintaining the whole house. I can't afford to pay rent every month, I explained. I will help with the rent, she offered. If that's the case, that's fine. I'm glad to be freed from living with you. I'd always thought it would be the worst to be with you till the end, I responded. Promise me financial assistance, she requested. All right then, let's start looking for an apartment soon, I agreed. So we decided to live separately. My mother-in-law seemed to be struggling financially, so I intended to help her with the apartment fees. Despite our complicated relationship, she is the mother of my beloved husband John, and I wanted to support her as much as I could. Around the time I started looking for her new apartment, I experienced a health scare. I was diagnosed with a cerebral hemorrhage, but luckily it wasn't life-threatening. I spent 2 months in the hospital, including a recuperation period. During my stay, my mother-in-law never visited me, but my parents and sister took turns caring for me. Thanks to their support, I could return to almost my regular daily life with only slight residual symptoms. And just like that, my 2-month hospital stay flew by, and the date of my discharge arrived. I originally intended to return to my parents' house for a while, but when I went home to get my belongings, I was met with a shocking scene. What? The house is gone. What happened? I asked in disbelief. My mother-in-law appeared as if she had been waiting for me. Congratulations on your discharge. I didn't expect you to come back looking so well. There are barely any lingering effects, and I can return to my daily life, I replied. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you're back healthy. More importantly, what happened to the house while I was hospitalized? I inquired. About that, I sold it for about $150,000, she revealed casually. What do you mean? You sold it without consulting me, I exclaimed. I had a friend who wanted to live around here. Her husband works nearby, and they're in a hurry to find a place, she explained nonchalantly. I just sold it. Selling it without even telling me is unacceptable, I replied, feeling shocked and upset. It's not a big deal. Right after you were hospitalized, I got this offer. I thought even if you survived, you'd probably have difficulties living normally and might end up in a facility. So I made a decision on my own. Don't be mad, she explained casually. I can't believe it. But thanks to me finding a buyer, we got $150,000 from selling the house, she added. While I was in the hospital, my mother-in-law sold the house without asking me. Apparently, their acquaintance had always wanted the land around my house, and my mother-in-law took it upon herself to conduct a private transaction. Are you planning to sell someone's house without consulting them, and then keep the money for yourself? The house was originally under John's name, right? I questioned. That's true, but I don't think it's any of your business. Anything that belonged to my son John is mine, she asserted. You interpret everything in your favor, but that's not how it works, I argued. What do you mean? When John passed away, the house title changed to my name, she replied confidently. Selling a house without the owner's consent is almost criminal, you know, I countered. Please don't call me a criminal. Do you think you'd win in court? How about splitting it? Expect it to be $75,000 each, she suggested. It's not about the money. Then why are you so angry? While I was hospitalized, you sold our house on your own and used the money to buy a condo for yourself. Coincidentally, a condo next to our house was on sale for about $75,000, and she lives there now. Moreover, my belongings were placed in the new home. When I had my cerebral hemorrhage, she seemed to have doubted my condition was serious and made various decisions ahead of time during these 2 months. I explained, feeling betrayed and frustrated. I decided to confront the self-centered woman with the truth. The house is no longer under my name, I revealed. What do you mean? She asked. I was in the process of selling the house while I was hospitalized, I explained. Because of the good location, it was quickly decided. I was supposed to handle the procedures after I got discharged, but I've already sold it, so it's too late. You should cancel it right away. It's my house, she insisted. So I don't have any reason to cancel. Please explain the situation to your acquaintance and refund the $150,000, I insisted. What are you talking about? I've already bought a condo, so I can only return half of it. Then you'll have to sell the apartment you're living in now to refund the money, won't you? My clients also seem to be planning on demolishing the house, so it's convenient. I'd also have to move forward with the procedures, so please refund the money soon, she replied, dismissing my concerns. Wait a minute, we're not done talking yet. I'm thinking of returning to my parents' home, so I'd appreciate it if you could send my belongings there, I requested. Wait, I think today will be the last time I see you. Please take care, she said abruptly. Following this, I cut ties with her. Later, I heard she apologized to her acquaintance to whom she had sold the house without permission and repaid them the cost, including demolition and inconvenience fees, amounting to about $170,000. Furthermore, although she sold her apartment, its value had decreased since her purchase, and she ended up with significant debt. On the other hand, due to her actions, I saved on demolition costs and made a considerable profit from selling my house. A new house was built on the land where we had lived. I was nostalgic about the familiar place where I had spent happy times with John. Seeing the new house evoked bittersweet feelings, but I decided to visit the place. Unexpectedly, someone I never wanted to see again appeared. Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? She said. Why are you here, mother-in-law? I asked. I'm on my way to work, she replied. You're going to work now? I questioned. Yes, I'm working because of you, she responded. What happened to the assistant for my apartment you talked about? I inquired. We've cut ties and are no longer family, so that discussion is void, she stated. John would be saddened by the situation. I'd say the same thing to you, I remarked. What do you mean? She asked. John always prioritized me and treated me with such kindness. He was always considerate, wasn't he? I continued. What are you trying to say? She questioned. You used to blame me almost every day, saying that John's death was my fault. I explained. Yes, because it's the truth. If Joe hadn't met you, he would still be alive today, she argued. Are you still going to say that? Will that change how you feel? I countered. I have no reason to be lectured by you. Now that you've got so much money, you should at least take on some of the debt. You're still family, aren't you? She asserted. I never really liked you, but I intended to take care of you because you are the beloved mother of John, I replied. Of course, that's the least you can do, she agreed. But honestly, I cannot forgive some of the things you've done and said after I had a stroke. I just can't forget the hurtful words you've said to me, I confessed. That was months ago. Don't hold a grudge, she advised. It's hard for the person who was hurt by those words to forget, I replied. You're quite tenacious, aren't you? She remarked. Call it what you will. I'm not involved anymore, I stated firmly. By the way, aren't you supposed to be at work by now? I redirected the conversation. Oh, look at the time. Take care on your way, she said, changing the subject. If it weren't for you, I'd be enjoying a peaceful retirement by now, she added. Sounds like you regret your choices. Instead of blaming others, maybe it's best to reflect on your own actions, I suggested. I then spoke my mind to her and left the scene. It had only been 2 years since John passed away, but thanks to the money he left behind, I am now able to lead a stable life. The money that John left for me is invaluable, and I intend to use it wisely. I've purchased an apartment near my parents' house, and I'm living there alone. I miss having John by my side, but I find comfort in believing he's watching over me from heaven. I want to live a long, healthy life, cherishing the memories I shared with John and living for the both of us. My dream is to one day reunite with them in heaven and share all our cherished memories once again.